That's it.
Oh, welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. So when we were in the break, what did you do?
You know, I went to the Rolodex. So
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
this is my man. I called my man up, Jonathan. I said,
And we have figured out definitively that that's the guy you know.
Yeah.
You got to straighten him out.
I got to straighten him out, man.
I mean,
Jonathan,
come
he's
on.
a good guy, man. What's the deal?
Yeah.
Man? Come on, bro.
And by the way, it's Art Modell's fault I'm a Bengals fan.
Hey, Mikey, what I say? Bring it back.
Because they fired Paul Brown.
If Paul Brown had never, my dad was a Browns fan when he was a young kid.
Yeah.
Because he loved Paul Brown, as did kids all over the country.
Sure.
Everybody loved Paul Brown. He was the best coach. And because Art Modell fired him, and then he started the Bengals, my dad was angry about it, and he switched and became a Bengals fan.
If you root for the team that your father rooted for,
Yeah.
I give you a pass no matter what.
My dad rooted
like
for the
one
Bengals
thing
and
that I have a
Cubs.
hard time with is people that live in Cleveland but root for the Steelers. And I always ask them why. And if they say, my dad's from Pittsburgh or my dad was a fan, that's a free pass for me. But if it's because I like their uniforms or because they always win, I got nothing but hate for that.
I feel like you can't have two, or they say I root for the Browns and the Steelers. That's even worse. You can't root. It's just not possible.
Yeah, you root for one or the other.
You got to have one or the other,
but
bro.
I always felt that way, but I, in all honesty, I do want the Browns to do well when they're not playing the Bengals.
It's more fun.
Do.
I worked in Tampa 5 years, and I never, I was still a Browns fan.
Yeah.
Even though the first year I was there, they didn't have a team. I was there from 98 to 03. So I'm like, I've got no team. I got to know all the players. They were good.
Yeah,
that was the Warwick Dunn and Warren Sapp, and they were fun to root for. So I adopted them for the year because I had no rooting interest in the NFL. But once the Browns came back, they instantly became my favorite team again. And I always wanted the Bucs to do well.
Right.
It made my job easier when they were winning and doing well.
Right. If I don't want the Browns to. We've had the Browns sucking and had that storyline. I want the Browns to win a lot with Deshaun Watson.
Of course. All right. So let's start this segment of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show with the notion that FirstEnergy Stadium is kind of toxic to a lot of folks. They were involved in a bribery deal that came to light a couple of years back. And now Councilman Brian Casey, this is the Cleveland City Council, has introduced a resolution that he wants the name FirstEnergy stripped off the stadium name, doesn't want that. They were involved in a scandal involving $60 million of bribery money. Ultimately, the idea was to hurt their competitor and drive them out of business. Nonetheless,
it was tax breaks.
It was tax breaks. It was a very dirty, kind of Chicago-like deal, if you will. It was not pretty. Here's the thing, though. FirstEnergy paid $230 million in 2021 after admitting this is the crime, what they did. If you can make anything out of that, you're better than I am. I just know they spent a lot of dirty money bribing people.
Some politicians.
And it was a dirty deal. But they spent $107 million back in 2013 to have the naming rights to FirstEnergy Stadium through 2030. So even though this is on the city council's docket, and it likely will pass, it's not binding. It doesn't mean anything. It's largely symbolic. This is a deal between the Browns, the Haslam family, and FirstEnergy, and they're not. The Haslams aren't going to give that money back.
Yeah, I don't like that they're doing this. This seems like grandstanding, and I don't appreciate that.
Right.
The city of Cleveland, a lot of important work needs to be done. Generally, and obviously we got a new mayor who I really like, and I think is going to do a good job. And we need to be focused on a lot of more important things.
Yeah.
I do think FirstEnergy is a disgrace. This idea, the statements put out by both FirstEnergy and the Browns over the weekend were flat out embarrassing, saying they're doing all this stuff in the community, but whatever. They did. This is awful what they did, and I don't want to call it this. I'm going to just call it Cleveland Brown Stadium, and that's whatever.
Yeah.
But what's the point of this resolution when they have no ability to change it? It's a waste of time.
I mean, listen. I applaud. Listen, the city council, if they're not going to do nothing about it, and they're going to keep the name. I got all time of the day. I got all type of time. I could go to this meeting, and then right after this meeting, I can vote on roads or bridges or whatever I want. But symbolism does work. You can't let people get away with blatant corruption and nothing happens. So, yeah, take the rights.
So, in other words, it would look uglier on the city council if they just sat back and did nothing.
It's like, what are we
because you're almost co-signing it if you don't at least oppose it.
Fair point.
So it is.
At least it brought, you know what? It's a good point. At least it brought it to the public attention again, because a lot of people.
Because I didn't even know about it.
I think it's in Casey's district too, so that's where the stadium is.
So it's politically expedient
Larry,
to be against the bad guys.
But one of the biggest bribes was Larry Householder was the head of the state.
Well, but you're sitting here, and obviously it's iconic. It's just like when you go to most big cities, you see the city is associated with the stadium name.
Sure.
SoFi Stadium in L.A. Staples, it used to be out in L.A. I mean, so you would know Yankee Stadium. Well, not Yankee Stadium.
I think like Fenway, Wrigley. There's
the-
very few that haven't succumbed
to the naming.
to the big
So
naming.
to your point, though, the Browns are not going to give the money back, right?
No.
It's
Do you
already,
think
it's already,
they'll
it's already,
rename it?
it's already fact. Well, if somebody pays more, right?
Yeah, like so. Here's the
They
deal.
should be trying to do that.
I
though.
imagine if the Browns wanted, and you're the mayor, so tell me if I'm off base here. If the Browns came to the decision that we don't like this because it is dirty and it reflects negatively on us,
Right.
we want to null and void this contract. Here's your money back. That's would, if it was prorated out, I think it's about $7 million a year.
Yeah.
So if it goes through 30, so that's $56 million remaining. Here's your $56 million. They're only going to do that if they have someone else to supplant that money, and then it becomes Progressive Stadium or whatever it would be. Could they get out of that contract?
They would have to go back and renegotiate the deal. And here, FirstEnergy could say, no, you pay me to remove my name because I'm getting damaged from this little
but
this
because
little
they've been
theatrical
ensnared
stunt.
in a controversy, is there any sort of morals clause that the Browns could use to escape?
It could be one buried. It depends on what the contract says. The contract can say 1,000 things, right? So the one thing is that the Browns have probably, if I think about it, have factored this money into their operations.
I would imagine they
right?
have.
So that has to be resolved. They're not walking away from that obligation without some type of remuneration here, right?
And they don't care, though. The Browns don't care what FirstEnergy did.
well-
They probably don't care. They certainly know that the fans are not going to not come to games because of it.
Well, they probably do care.
But,
they're
I mean,
running,
look at Jimmy Haslam's past.
Here, I
I
still
mean-
need to pave the streets, all right?
Yeah.
So this money is
If they
factored
had
into-
their pick,
this
they
is-
probably
this-
wish it wasn't
This
called
is
First
factored
Energy.
into the budget,
Right.
So I can't walk away. It's not like we walk away from $10, right?
I don't care. If you really care, then do
Well, if
something
you want
about
your
it.
street-
If you
if you-
really care, then do something
We did a
about it.
segment. The segment last week was Sports Czar or whatever, where we let Mikey McNuggets change anything in the sports world that he wanted.
Yeah.
We'll go around the table here, and Bull, you can start. You can name FirstEnergy whatever you want. What are you calling it?
I would just, very simple, nothing exciting about this. Cleveland Brown Stadium. That's it. Very
okay,
simple.
standard, very Penn State-ish.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, for me, I'm thinking about the economics of it, right? So the Browns have to supplant this money. I would change it to Sherman-Williams Stadium because Sherman-Williams is building this new world headquarters.
Oh,
in
wow.
in
Okay, now
downtown
that's a great
Cleveland,
idea,
right?
bro.
And then it would kind of line up with a message that I think the city's trying to portray, right? We're investing in millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, the state, the county, the city, and putting Sherman-Williams headquarters downtown, right? And so
that's
I just think that would be fit for Brown Stadium because
So-
that's going to be the iconic place that you know here. We're in Sherman-Williams Stadium here.
Right. And obviously, so your idea is you got to have that money, that sponsorship money, and who better than Sherwin-Williams, who's just made a huge investment in downtown
Correct.
by moving their headquarters here. Bull, what do you got?
That's bull.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gee, what do you got?
Separated
All you big guys look alike.
Separated at birth.
Hey, I'm gonna go with the zoo, man, because the zoo sounds great.
Oh, the zoo.
See, I
like
love
that.
it because there's a bunch of crazed animals, sports fans down there, and I wanna bring it back. I wanna bring back the dog pound, but I also wanna bring back monkey suits. I wanna bring back apes and gorillas and chimps and everything, and giraffes and bears and tigers. I want everybody dressing up like it's Halloween, and when you come in
Sort of
here,
like the Raiders old bar.
yes, when you come up in here, it's gonna be loud, obnoxious. We throw stuff only like confetti and stuff, not like hammers,
No batteries and
or
cans.
batteries and nothing. But you come in here, you know it, and the sponsor is Pet Supplies.
So Pet Supply Zoo Stadium.
Pet Supply Zoo.
Yeah, I don't want. So something like that is so cool. I don't want a sponsor name. The zoo.
Yeah, you got
That's
ruined
it.
with
Welcome to the
sponsor
zoo.
name.
Welcome to the zoo.
Other teams, after it becomes a thing, they're looking at their schedule. Oh, damn, we got to go to the zoo
Oh my
in
God.
December.
Right.
It's
Like, who
cold.
wants to go to the zoo in December?
Nobody.
The
Nobody.
I love
Bengals have
that.
to come to the zoo
And
on
the jungle.
Monday Night Football.
Well, and
on
the Bengals have the
Halloween.
jungle.
Yes.
So you'd have the jungle
One
and
of
the
them.
zoo. I like that a lot.
I like the zoo,
So
man.
I'm not loving mine as much anymore. Mine just feels kind of plain. But I just wanted
He
it
tucked his chain in.
dog pound. That's it. The whole stadium takes on the dog pound vibe. I still think that is what this franchise
Yeah.
most identifies with. We don't have the mascot per se. I know we do, but the dog pound of the old municipal stadium was real. I want that same feel in the entire stadium.
yeah.
Because that vibe was something that the fans knew. If you had to go into that end in the fourth quarter, it wasn't going to be fun. Number one, you're going into the wind off the lake, and you got to go into the teeth of those fans. So I'd love something dog pound-ish, but the zoo ain't bad.
I like the zoo.
The zoo ain't bad. If you have ideas, go ahead and send them to us. You know our handle on YouTube, Twitter. You send them in. Mike will go through them, and he'll give us some of the best ones later in the show if we want to do that. All right?